start our meeting, it's our tradition that we begin our meetings with an invocation and Pledge of Allegiance. So if you'd like to join us this morning, we'd ask that you would stand at this time. I'm sorry, Kurt. Go ahead.
Heavenly Father, you have so many names. Wonderful Counselor, the Mighty King, the Everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace. Be with us here today as we do the business of our city, whether it be with the petitioners who are here to bring their case forward, or those here on the dais that will be adjudicating and working its best decisions for our city. Be with us all. Please bless the families that are also here and are related, and watch over our city and our state as well as our nation. For it is in His name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Turn to the flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. Okay, just a little housekeeping before we get started. The Planning Commission is a recommending body, so what that means is, with the exception of site plans and plats, which our decision is final on, all other decisions will be City Council for final approval on their next meeting, which will be.
So one of these cases will go to the City Council on February 16th, okay, and the other one is scheduled for the first meeting in March.
Okay, there you go. All right. So that being said, we're going to go, also, if we get to the public hearings, we're going to give you the opportunity to come and speak on any particular case that you might want to speak on, either for or against. I ask that you would give us your name and address for the record when you come to the lectern, and we'll impose the 3-minute time limit this morning, Ms. Avery. All right, let's move into item 4, our consent agenda. Any errors, omissions, anything we need to take off of the consent agenda for individual consideration? Okay, seeing none, I'll entertain a motion.
I move to approve the consent agenda for February the 10th.
I'll second.
Have a motion with a second. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, let's move into item 5, our public hearings. I'm going to open the public hearing on item 5A. Ms. York.
Thank you, sir. Good morning, everybody. The first item I have for you this morning is to receive a report, hold a discussion, and conduct a public hearing and make a recommendation on a request to rezone approximately 5 acres of land, commonly, or I guess legally described as the Point Lookout Addition, from the local retail district to commercial, retaining that highway-oriented and corridor overlay district. To allow for the use of hotel, motel, and hotels, extended stay, residence hotels. Case number 2025-12Z. This is the aerial view of that subject property. That is the La Quinta that is located on the west side of 75 going south. IHOP, I think, is just to the south, if that works better for you guys. Sorry, that was not me. It's okay, Karen. This is the current plat for that property. Right now, with it being zoned local retail, a hotel motel is allowed, but the hotel extended stay is not an allowed use within the local retail district. So the applicant is looking to expand that site. I'm going to go back to include 2 new hotels, one of which, or maybe both, to be utilized as the hotel extended stay for that property. But in order to do that, they have to rezone that property to commercial. Just to clarify, this is just for zoning. The applicant will have to replat the property, provide a formal site plan of which the commission would take action on because the property falls within an overlay district, as well as civil engineering plans prior to the actual development of the property. The future land use plan does designate this area to be developed in a mixed commercial manner, and so rezoning to commercial does comply with the future land use plan and the comprehensive plan. Staff recommends approval of the request, and I'm present for any questions you may have, and the applicant is here as well.
Any questions of staff? Okay, seeing none. Would the applicant like to come forward? Good morning. Good. Name and address for the record, please.
So Rob Jane, I represent the owners.
Okay. Address?
81 Northwest Highway 75 Denison.
Thank you.
Anything you'd like to say, or?
Yeah, we're just requesting for land use change for future developments if we may have any. For the city of Denison, I'm sure you guys know how this is growing for us, the Sherman-Denison area, so we're just trying to be proactive and see if we can have a land use change. If we have a future requirement for the hotel, we have it ready.
Okay. Any other questions? All right, thank you, sir. All right, anyone else here would like to speak on this case? Either for or against? Yes, sir. Can you come forward, please? And I'll need your name and address for the record.
Yes, Paul Godani. I'm at the Holland Express, 715 North Point Lookout Drive. So the first question is it the lot front of that Holland Express?
It's outlined in yellow.
That used to be Comfort Inn. I don't know if you guys are familiar with it.
The property is outlined in yellow. My assumption is that the Holiday Inn is the southwest property, yes?
Yes, that's
Yes.
correct.
Okay. Then it's not the lot in front of.
It's to the northeast of you.
So is it behind the IHOP?
It's to the north of the IHOP. There's
So
an
it's in the
existing,
yellow.
there's an existing hotel.
Okay.
Is the property
So where that
associated with the
yellow
La
box
Quinta?
is, that's the
In
property
yellow.
in question.
The yellow box. Okay. Okay, I just want to see if it's in front of us, then it's gonna block the view of our property. And second thing is just a suggestion. That we already have enough hotel in Denison as of right now, and I don't think every hotel getting full. So I'm not sure that we do need a new hotel in the area at this
well,
point.
Before we go too deep into that conversation, we're here not to discuss whether this is a good or bad business decision.
Okay.
We're here to discuss the land use
Okay.
for this particular use. So we're not going to discuss whether or not it's a good business decision for them to put another hotel in Denison.
Yeah, I'm just suggestion.
Is
I'm
it
not trying.
appropriate for this property is
Right.
what we're looking at today.
Okay, I'm not trying to oppose or anything.
I want to clarify that so you understand what our purpose here in this meeting is today.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Okay, seeing none, I'm going to close the public hearing. And any discussion among the commission? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
I move to recommend the approval of changing the zoning of the subject property from the local retail district within the highway-oriented and corridor overlay district to the commercial district within the highway-oriented and corridor overlay district to allow for a hotel, motel, and hotel extended stay residence hotel.
Have a motion? Have a second, Mr. Sylvester. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. We'll go to item 4B. I'll open that public hearing. Ms. York.
Thank you, sir. The next item I have for you is to receive a report, hold a discussion, conduct a public hearing, and take action on a replat for the Webster Estate, creating lots 1R and 2R, Block 32, previously of the Land Grant Railway and Trust Company Land Edition. This is case number 2025-13RP. This is an aerial view of that subject property. There's a house that fronts on East Main Street, and the rest of the property is undeveloped. And this is the proposed replat. The applicant is seeking approval of the proposed replat in order to create a subdivision of 2 lots, as you can see here. The applicant wishes to subdivide the existing single-family home from that larger tract of land. Lot 2R would house that single-family home, and Lot 1R would remain undeveloped until the applicant moves forward with the appropriate development steps. So pre-development meeting, and then whatever guidance staff provides, depending on how they want to develop that property. There's probably significant applications, replat, civil engineering plans, all that kind of stuff. The property does front on East Main Street, and whenever that other lot is to be developed, there are right-of-ways to the west that it could connect to, providing adequate access to any development that takes place on that vacant lot. They also have access to water and sewer. The proposed lots do meet the minimum standards found within the single-family 5 residential district, which is what the property is zoned, and for that reason, staff recommends approval of the request. I'm present for any questions you may have. And if you do have questions of the applicant, they are also here.
Any questions of staff? All right. Anyone here to speak on behalf of this request, either for or against?
I'm the applicant requesting the replat. If you don't have any questions for me,
Okay. Would you mind giving us name and address for the record so we'll have that, please?
Anjanette Webster, we live at 2913 Post Oak, McKinney, Texas.
Okay. Any questions of our applicant?
You don't have any questions? It's pretty simple right now.
No.
It'll get more complicated later.
Thank you for coming.
All right, thank you.
Anyone else here to speak, either for or against? All right, seeing none, I'm going to close the public hearing. If there's no discussion, I will entertain a motion.
I move to approve the proposed replat.
I'll second.
I have a motion with a second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item 5C, I will open that public hearing. Ms. York.
Thank you, sir. Item 5C is to receive a report, hold a discussion, and conduct a public hearing and make a recommendation on a request for a conditional use permit for a tract of land legally described as the Lanes Addition, Block 21, Lot 5, also commonly known as 816 West Shepherd Street, to allow for an accessory dwelling unit within the 2-family duplex residential district. This is case number 2025-17 CUP. This is an aerial view of that subject property, so you see 2 existing structures. Obviously, that one at the front is the main dwelling unit, and the one at the back is the current accessory structure that is existing. It's not new. The applicant is requesting this conditional use permit to move forward with a remodel to convert that accessory structure into a dwelling unit or an accessory dwelling unit. Per their project narrative, they will not increase the existing footprint, the height, or the overall building mass of that existing structure. As I mentioned earlier, that it is, I've mentioned it several times, it's existing, but it's also non-conforming due to the proximity to the property line on the east side of the property and the height of the structure. As it currently exists, the setback that is depicted on the site plan, it's kind of hard to see, but it's about 4 feet. That is allowed for accessory structures. As they are wanting to convert this structure into a dwelling unit, that setback becomes non-conforming. And so in discussion with the building official, in order to allow this remodel to move forward from a staff perspective, they would need to install a firewall. That way it prevents, kind of mitigates that issue of a shorter setback. Additionally, the current height of the accessory structure is approximately 25 feet. The ordinance does cap that height at 18 feet. Given that this is an existing structure and it does provide the possibility of an affordable housing option, staff is supportive of this. They are not increasing the building itself. Everything that they are doing to convert this structure into a dwelling unit is happening internally. The applicant is also proposing to provide access to the ADU via the existing driveway. And all parking for the ADU will be located at the rear of the property. The applicant will also separate the utilities so that the main dwelling and the ADU will have their own water, sewer, and electricity. And they understand that that's subject to impact fees as well as utility fees to bring the taps in and for a meter. We mention this every time an ADU comes across our desk as well as in front of you, but due to the rising housing cost, ADUs have become an increasingly popular option for generating supplemental income and providing more affordable housing opportunities. And while the 800 block of West Shepherd Street has developed primarily with single-family homes, its proximity to downtown supports the modest increase in density allowed through ADUs. The future land use plan is a little tricky in this area because of the proximity to Armstrong Avenue. The future land use plan kind of designates this area as a mixed commercial with a revitalization overlay over top of it. My assumption is that future land use plan designates that because of the proximity to downtown and because Armstrong is such a major thoroughfare. However, Armstrong is not developed in a mixed commercial manner for property that does not front on Armstrong Avenue. And so staff is interpreting the future land use plan to just depict the frontage for Armstrong as that mixed commercial, or to follow that mixed commercial designation and to allow for the neighborhood to exist as it is and to develop as a neighborhood. I think also you could interpret the revitalization area overlay to extend into the neighborhood, and bringing in this incremental or small density does allow for revitalization. With that, staff does recommend approval of the request. I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have, and I do believe the applicant is here as well, if you have questions for them.
Any questions of staff?
If I could you go back to the photograph again? So what I think I heard you saying, overhead photo, the Google Earth picture. What you see listed as 820, 826, and 830 driving by there, those are open lots. Those conceivably could become commercial entities.
Not with the way that they're currently zoned.
Okay.
This whole area is outside of what's fronting on Armstrong is zoned 2 family duplex.
Okay.
Any other questions? All right, thank you. Would the applicant like to come forward?
Hello, good afternoon. My name is Mario. I'm representing the owner, Antonio Saita, on the CUP application.
Could we get an address, Mario?
It's 816 West Shepherd, Denison.
Okay.
Did you get his last name?
Antonio, wait, for my
Yeah.
Yes.
Mario Pacheco. Yeah, Pachecco.
Thank you, Mario. All right, any questions of our speaker? None? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Anyone else here to speak on this request? Okay, seeing none, we're going to close the public hearing. If there is no discussion, I will entertain a motion.
Just real quickly, just to restate my mind, and I'm sorry I lost track of it. The architectural design standards, did we include something for accessory?
So, yes, sir, that they at least provide one material that is similar to the main, or they, not material, but one architectural standard that is similar to what is being utilized as the main, or on the main structure.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yes, for my clarification, do we have a square footage percentage for the accessory buildings?
It's not specific to the structure, it's specific to the lot size. There's a maximum lot coverage of, if I recall correctly, it's like 50% for the residential areas, which is tricky when it's an existing layout already. The house is existing, the accessory structure is existing, but I believe it's the 50%.
But we don't base our accessory structures off of the main structure square footage.
Just the height, there is a height maximum, which I mentioned earlier, is 18 feet. But other than that, I don't believe there's anything that calls out.
Which is, it's kind of odd because that's what I've base it off of the structure, because in this particular case, we're gonna have an accessory building larger than the main structure on the house.
From a square footage requirement?
Well, it's 2 stories.
2 stories.
So a part of the first story, and correct me if I'm wrong, is a garage. And then there's your kitchen, your typical downstairs stuff, and then upstairs is a 2-bedroom, 1-bedroom. 2 bedroom.
So there's 2 bedrooms and a bath upstairs, and then downstairs is the living area and the garage.
Yes, sir.
That's what you're telling me.
Yes, sir.
But
I think you can kind of, I think it might be included in your agenda packet, the actual footprint of the home, just in case I'm incorrect.
now, I do have a question about egress out of this structure. Are you gonna allow egress out that side, Kurt? Since it's less than 5 feet, and that's a firewall, they're not gonna be allowed to put windows in that wall unless those windows are fire rated, correct?
Correct.
Which is gonna be very difficult for an egress.
Is the egress on that side?
I don't see any egress on this.
Not on that side.
There's no windows shown on this plan.
Yeah, so that's something they have to add. Because we'd see that when they apply for the permitting.
Because we're not approving the house layout, we're just approving the use.
And that's discussions that we had through the, within the pre-development meeting, as well as through the comment letter period for the application, is making them aware that because this is a non-conforming structure as it pertains to a dwelling unit, that there would be mitigation, specifically for fire and building codes that would take place at permitting.
This bedroom cannot, they can't work because they can't put a window on that side. Okay, so we don't have to worry about, we're gonna run into those issues. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So we're just basically gonna approve the zoning.
Yes, sir.
Anything else, gentlemen? Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
I move to recommend approval of conditional use permit to allow for an accessory dwelling unit within the 2-family duplex residential district, a property located at 816 West Shepherd Street.
I'll second.
Have a second by Mr. Sylvester. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item 6.
There are no items for individual
Okay,
consideration.
Item 7.
I don't have any updates for you right now. I would be mindful of your feelings or your concerns when it comes to the ADUs. As we mentioned a couple weeks ago, that we'll be bringing some language recommendations to you, hopefully in the near future. If it's not in March or the end of March, the ice storm kind of set us back a little bit, as well as updates to the use regulation chart.
Item 8.
I just wanted to mention to you, thank you all. You all responded very promptly with your interest in volunteering on the sign ordinance committee. So I'm awaiting some further direction, and then I'll circle back with all of you.
Okay. That's it? No presentation on board member responsibilities?
That's coming.
That's coming. Oh, we're going to adjourn, then we're going to do that?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I was curious because it's on here before the adjournment, so I didn't know how you want to handle it. It's up to you. Let's adjourn, and then we don't have to be careful about what we say. How's that? All right. I need a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second.
I have a motion with a second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?